All right, so let's go ahead and spend a few minutes to review what is most important as you set up some of the first goals or maybe your first Google Analytics dashboard to show how you can be able to deliver reporting around ROI, around marketing attribution, and the value in general that is being added. So first and foremost, let's just quickly review a few things before we hop directly into analytics. So the image that you're seeing here was taken from a 2018 case study wherein it included the chief MarTech marketing technology landscape. So this was the MarTech 5000. Actually, there's 7,000 marketing technologies that are accessible today. And a lot of the times, these technologies and or platforms, they will show great ways to show engagement and or deliver content to the right person at the right time. But one thing that we have to answer, we need to answer the question is who's responsible for taking all the traffic that's coming into your website or to your paid media, tracking it through to the landing page. So if we have a form or a contact form or a trial that we want them to engage, and then moving it all the way over to reporting on the conversions, the value, and the ROI. So who's responsible for making these changes? After today, you will be the one that can be able to raise your hand and say, I would like to be able to showcase how we can deliver more value through some of these basic Google Analytics that we'll review next. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and hop right into this. So within Google Analytics, there are 4 different types of goals. And so the first is the goal that is called the URL destination goal or goals. So these are typically for transactional or forms. So when I talk about transactional, that's either monetary is being exchanged, so there's a dollar amount being exchanged, and or there is an exchange for personal information for content. So if you're requesting a cheat sheet or a guide for a name or email address, a URL destination goal is going to be best served. The URL destination goals are perfect for thank you pages, they're for confirmation pages, the download, sales, and so that way when they create the transaction, they're redirected to a different page. So they go to a contact us form, fill it out, hit submit, and now they're directed to a thank you page. One of the benefits of having this transactional type of goal, this URL destination goal, is it allows you to keep track of which channel is effectively driving the best interaction to the main goals. One thing to note here as a pro tip, make sure that the URL is hidden for the success or thank you page so no one can directly access it. This way it'll lead to 100% correct tracking. The second is visit duration goals. So within the visit duration goals, one of the things that is important to know is this is to keep track if you are looking for engagement. So if you'd like to increase engagement on the site and improve the amount of time the users are spending within the site or brand, this will be the goal that will be most critical. So one thing that's important to remember here is you can use the visit duration goal in 2 different ways. So let's suppose you have, we set 3 minutes as the time we want to track of how long people are spending on the site. We can also identify the numbers of visitors who stay more than 3 minutes or less than 3 minutes through using this method. So the tip here is to select a time duration that some people will spend on your site. If almost everyone does it, the goal has no value. So we'll actually walk through this today of how to find your visit duration goal so we can create that on the next step. The third type is pages per visit line within the goals. So instead of tracking how much time people spend on your website, you can also track how many pages they visit before they leave the website. And so these pages per visit goal is set up pretty much the same way that the visit duration goal is. So if you would like to keep users engaged, you want them to view multiple pages on your site, this is the goal that you should set. the pages per visit goal is probably one of the most frequently used for people that are looking for the goal to improve their customer support or their customer experience within the website. And the last type of goal that can be set is an event. So events, they're slightly more complex and tricky than the first three goals explained. And so for that purpose, we'll briefly explain them here. And on the third step of setting this up in the creating the dashboard, we will also share some basics around event tracking. But essentially, event, it allows us to track with certain elements, for example, on a website. And so say we have on our homepage a video called It's the Intro to Our Amazing Company. And where we are not collecting any information for people that play that, but we would like to create lists of people that watch 90% or more of the video, we would then set up within Analytics and Google Tag Manager an event which would trigger a goal. And so anytime in the example I'm sharing here, the Intro to Amazing Company was watched 90%, then that would be triggered as a video successful engagement. So, understanding the first four types, let's go ahead and let's take a look at where we're going to head next. And so let's log into your analytics account to determine what your current average session duration should be and which pages per session. And you can feel free to download this form that you see on your screen right here. There should be a link directly below on the page that you're on watching this video. And we're going to walk through the first two, and we'll talk about the all forms point here in a few minutes. But before we jump into your Google Analytics account, if you do not have access, we've included a handy link here at the bottom so you can share that with whoever has created your Google Analytics account to ensure that they give you the proper access to your Google Analytics to create these goals and reporting. So let's go ahead and jump over into our Google Analytics dashboard. So the first thing that we are going to determine is the average session duration and the pages per session. So to do that, we're going to log into our analytics account. I'm at the home page. From the home page on the left hand side, underneath acquisition, I'm going to go to all traffic, and then I'm going to go to channels. One important point here is typically when you're setting these behavior goals around time or pages, it's always good to get at least the previous 30 days of data. Best practice would be to look at the previous quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and for this purpose, I'm going to look at the first quarter of this year to be able to create these behavior goals. Okay. Now that I have my time range selected for the first quarter, the next thing is I do not want to track direct traffic. Direct traffic is people that already know who you are or coming into the website if your analytics is set up properly. If not, you may want to visit our quick self-audit to ensure that your traffic is set up and reporting properly. So from here, we would like to remove the direct traffic so we can get a little bit better figure of what the actual goals should be of the sessions and the pages per session. To do that, we're going to click on the Advanced tab, and we're going to click on the drop down and to choose Exclude the default channel grouping containing. If you start typing it, it should find that channel. Once we apply these changes, you can see now we have a clean set of analytic behavior data to work with. Okay. And so as a result, I can see that 48 seconds on this test site is the average for the view of all of these channels together. Across the board with direct, it's 52. The reason I removed direct is they already know who we are. We would like to set our goal a little bit higher. So typically, if we're shooting for a goal, I would say to double it. So in this case, at 45 seconds, I would say a minute and a half would be a great goal to start with. As you look down through other content, one of the first sources you want to look at is the organic search to ensure that that is also pretty close to the spot. And so a minute and a half seems like that is going to be one of the best places to start with. So what we will do is we'll take that information and we'll come over to our sheet and we'll say 90 seconds or 1.5 minutes. And I always like to stretch and round it up. So I'm going to say if they stay on the site for 2 minutes, that's a good goal. If they stand up for less than a minute, that would also be an audience that I would like to know. So I'm going to go ahead and say best practice is 1.5 minutes. I always like to stretch my goals so I can be able to show a little bit extra. Now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and look at the current average pages per session, and that is here. And so if it's 1.43, the average for the total view is almost 1.5 pages. So typically, I'm going to select 2 pages. And so if I look here, 1.5 seems to be pretty close. So I'm going to look at this and say, do I really want 2 pages where some of the referral traffic are almost hitting 3? So I'm going to go ahead and say, based upon knowing that our referral traffic, some of this is coming from our AMP and our mobile traffic, I'm going to set our pages per session to 3. All right. Now we have the first 2 goals that we'll create in the next steps. I would like you to spend the next few minutes reviewing your website, looking at all the landing pages which have forms or pages which you would like to track those deeper engagements, and to record your landing page location and what those success page locations are. If you have forms set up currently to not reroute to a new thank you/success page, I would strongly encourage you to do so. We'll speak here on the second and third video around the abilities of remarketing based upon those pixels, but it helps to create cleaner and better audiences to engage with. So go ahead and download this now, and let's figure out which goals you would like for your session duration and your pages per session, and then let's list out which landing pages we'd like to track in our first dashboard. Once you have that done, go ahead and enter your name and email and click continue, and we'll move to the next step.